Trippy?
Maybe a little cliche, but I do really like the music.
Okay.
I know that we all seek to be able to meditate no matter what the surrounding sounds or noise or talking is around us, but music is great.
Yeah, it is, right?
Give you something to like think of but ignore at the same time.
Yeah.
Just let be in the background.
Kind of sets a mood, right? Nice. That's a great place about Woke House. If we like music, we'll play music, you know? We had a guy playing the sitar here the other day.
Yeah,
That was pretty
really
rad.
cool. Yeah,
He said he's coming back, so. Yeah.
that was super fun.
I'm from Floresville, so I thought it was a banjo, but it's not a banjo.
I didn't even know what a sitar was.
Yeah.
It's a sit guitar.
I think, like I say, early on in the walking meditation, I could see, you know, how I let the outside world affect me, you know? Like, we're dealing with people all the time. Somebody wrote, hell is other people. So I run into this a lot at work. I'm having to get something accomplished, but I'd have to work in a team. And people don't always think like I do. I always think I have the right idea, and I definitely see this is the course we should take, but yet a-hole over here sees it totally different. And we all know he's wrong, but we still gotta listen to his idea. Pretend like Malcolm's relevant. New guy, yeah, let's listen to new guy. Yeah, and so dealing with other people, that's we're on this planet together. And in walking meditation, I saw how I would judge people, like that person's walking too slow, that person's walking too fast, or that's a pretty dress they have, or that's, you know, that guy looks creepy, or whatever, you know. The mind is like generating these thoughts. It just wants to think. That's its purpose, you know. And so it was kind of like, man, I'm really judgmental. Man, why don't I just worry about myself? Man, that person behind me is really close. Man, there's a huge gap behind me. Why is there such a huge gap behind me? You know, it's just like, no, I'm just trying to breathe. I'm not worried about all that stuff, you know. Did y'all feel any of that, or am I the only one that's weird?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
That's normal, right, is to have the bombardment of thoughts be the norm, and the one day that you can only have your breath, that's the exception.
Right.
I don't think you should feel bad if that's not true.
Thank you.
And I'm just saying that to validate myself.
I sound like a big reflection of how life works.
Okay.
Just like, as somebody who's going maybe slower, or they would pause.
Right.
It's like, that's kind of the journey they're on. Like maybe that's the pace that they need to go right now.
Absolutely.
And then, since we're connected, that actually creates something for you, an opportunity for you too. It's like, maybe I too need to stop here for something. Maybe I need to look around. Maybe I need to check in and
Yeah.
see what's going on with me. And sometimes I find myself like in between steps. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
but that's where I am right now. It's like, okay, so what do I need to see here? What do I need to feel here? You know? That's kind of what I saw.
Definitely. And you know, with me, I have come to find out that I have control issues. Like, I really want to control things all the time, and it has to do with anxiety. I don't want to feel anxious, so, you know, I want to move that over here. Okay, you know. Wait, it's too far. I'm going to move it back over. Okay. I'm just trying to relieve that anxiety, you know. And I need that person that I'm working with to hurry up. You know, and we need that report done today, not tomorrow. And we need to get there now and not yesterday. And blah, 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 right? And so trying to control the world, and you can never do it. You can never do it. You know, you can never do it. You can straighten stuff all day long, but do you want to spend your life straightening things? Or do you want to learn how to deal with that? You know what I mean? Do you want to be frustrated when you're working in a team? Or do you truly want to hear what the other person has to say? Because I found my way's not always the best way. I know that's hard to believe, but sometimes somebody says something that I would have never thought of, and it's exactly what needed to happen. And thank God I didn't try to do it my way, right?
Devon
mind's time and path is usually very different than ours.
Yeah.
Or the ones we have planned.
Right. Sometimes there's a ultimate plan that we need to relax into, right? And even the first thing I did, I got up and I thought Malcolm was walking too slow, and I was like, Malcolm, hurry up, come on, let's try to let's space this out a little bit better. There's a lot of us, you know. And so in my mind, I'm like, I want everybody to be comfortable. I want everybody to have their own space. I don't want this to be a log jam and all this stuff. And then, huh?
I was really surprised you did that because normally you're like, don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about how fast.
Yeah, and so I have control issues, right? I want everybody to be in the right place. I want everybody to be having a good time. I want this to work out perfectly. And then I had to be like, damn it, again, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Why am I directing the show? This isn't my show, you
I
know?
worry about that too, but I think, especially with the walking meditation, it's awesome because you start out and, like you need to find the space and,
Yeah.
You need to adjust yourself, but over time, like by the end, everybody's moving and like,
Yeah.
listen, and it just diffuses, like everybody's energy is just like reflecting off one another and we're all just kind of operating, like we're not even thinking about it by the end. Like, I think that's metaphor for,
I think
the
that's
meditation community.
I think that's a metaphor for life, right? If you just slow down and let things unfold naturally, they will find their own pace, right?
And maybe it takes a bit longer too.
Yeah.
And pretty soon there was no beginning and no end. Like,
Thank you.
I didn't even know what the leader was. Kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Behind you.
I know we're
I didn't even
supposed
know
to
there
be
was a
like
leader.
not thinking about
There is,
anything,
I remember.
but then I get to the point of where I just start envisioning myself walking in a forest. Or, I mean,
Okay.
Is it okay to do that?
Sure.
I totally get away from here.
I was just telling him, I was like, does it defeat the purpose
Right.
to think about yourself, like doing something like leading yourself towards the most peaceful place that you want, you know what I mean? Instead of just, because for me, like not thinking, and last Saturday he was saying, instead of saying or labeling it as thinking, just swipe it. And
Swipe it, yeah.
That's so much easier. One word, swipe. Yep.
Swipe right, swipe left if you want to keep it. Swipe right if you're interested. If you want to see that thought later, maybe if you and that thought want to go hang out and have dinner together and check out, you swipe right.
That's kind of funny.
ChristianFarmers.com or something. I don't know.
I've heard of that.
I've used it
Yes.
before, yeah.
You remember how he describes, I think it's, I don't think it's in the first few, but he said your thoughts are like passing traffic. You're just watching it go by.
Watching it go by, yeah.
Not jumping in for a ride, just watching it go by.
Kind of, it speaks a bit to my experience. It was very blissful, and most of the time I was just looking around, just taking in the moment for me, not just being fully present in the moment. And as I was doing it, I'd have thoughts briefly enter my mind, and of all the people that I've recently helped, and the joy that I've brought and spread, and put people on a better path. And every once in a while, like, the time would pop in my mind, like future ideas and plans. And it's just, I'll always be present in the moment.
Yeah.
Flutter in and flutter out, like passing traffic.
Yeah.
And,
So
I got to a point where I was like crying bliss. Like I was happy, I was laughing, and I was crying tears, like of joy.
that's awesome. While you were walking?
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. Awesome. So yeah, I give the instruction in the beginning to stay in the present moment, and that's the instruction that I got about walking meditation, but whatever works for you. And so that's exactly what we're studying here with Shantideva, is even though we know that the Buddha isn't meant to be worshipped, he's literally going through a whole chapter to teach us how to do this meditation that looks a lot like worshiping Buddha, right? And what he's trying to do is give us one more practice that we can utilize. We got sitting meditation, we have walking meditation, we have various visualizations. You visualize yourself out in the woods or whatever it is. Visualize people that you've helped in the past. That brings up that bodhicitta feeling, right? And then Shantideva is saying that he's visualizing Buddha, and what he's doing is basically taking everything good in the universe and setting it at the Buddha's feet. And there's a lot of reasons why he's doing that. Number one, it's believed in Buddhism that when you hear the Dharma and you start practicing it, that's a very rare occurrence. We could be living in another country where they don't let you talk about Buddhism, and you would never hear it. Or you might live in a certain city or town in the United States and never hear Buddhism, right? And so if you hear the Dharma and you believe that we get reincarnated and we live multiple lives, by hearing this teaching, you're able to change your life and start doing good things that affect all your future lives. Make sense?
Yes.
And so Shantideva is saying, oh my God, I freaking could have not heard this. I could have not known this. Thank God that thank the universe that Buddha came, and that and somebody was nice enough to tell me about his teachings, and now I have the opportunity to change my life and all my future lives by integrating this practice, right? And so he's by showing his appreciation to Buddha and appreciation to the teachings and appreciation to the spiritual community that he belongs to, he's visualizing Buddha and putting everything. I want to read this, and then I'm going to kind of freak you out a little bit, and then I'm going to unfreak you out, and then we're going to discuss it, okay? It gets a little trippy here for a second, okay? So everybody don't jump up and run out of here, okay? So he says, in order to seize the precious mind of bodhicitta, he's doing these visualizations. So he's saying, whatever flowers and fruits there are, whatever kinds of medicine, whatever jewels exist in the world, and whatever clean and fresh water, likewise, gem-encrusted mountains, forest groves, quiet and joyful places, heavenly trees, bedecked with flowers, and trees with fruit-laden branches, fragrances from celestial realms, incense, wishing trees, jeweled trees, uncultivated harvests, and all adornments that are worthy of praise, lakes, pools adorned with lotus flowers, and the beautiful cries of the wild geese, everything of renown within unlimited space, that I lay at the lotus feet of the Buddha. Did you see how he is like, in this visualization, he's like anything in the universe, lakes, ponds, geese, diamonds, gold, jewels. He's visualizing himself walking up to the Buddha and giving that. Because what is it doing? Can you imagine doing an hour of that? Revering Buddha, showing your kindness, your generosity. Can you imagine what that does inside of you? I had a conversation with a good friend of mine that owns a bookstore here in San Antonio, and he's much older than I am, and he said something, and I couldn't figure out what he was talking about, because he said, man, I feel good today. He said, you know that feeling you get when you spend time around great art? Like when you wander around the museum and you're around great art, and then you leave there, you know that feeling that you have? That's how I feel right now. And I'm like, no, I don't. Like spending time around great art? Like, I don't. Not really, you know? And I kind of acted like I knew what he was talking about and whatever. But the next time I went to the museum, I was like, Bob said that being around great art produces this feeling, so let's experiment with that. And so I'd literally go up to the Picasso and like, oh my God, like the real dude, he painted this. Like, this is not a movie. It's not a picture. And I would look real close. I'm like, dude, like his hands actually made these marks, you know? Is that a fingerprint? Let me get out my cell phone and check. Don't take pictures. You know? And then I go to the next one, and it was about mindfulness, and like, what was the artist thinking when he was doing this, and what was going on in his or her life when this is happening, and then, okay, this is sculpture, this is not a painting. What did the sculptor think, and why did they do it? And I walked out of there with this feeling of, and I guess that's what they mean by bodhicitta. It felt like my heart was more open, and I just had like this blissful, comfortable, wonderful, at-home feeling from being around the great art, you know? And so I can only imagine that this is what Shantideva is saying we can generate by doing this practice. Now, let me freak you out, and we will go back to our chanting and end. But now, so in this visualization, Shantideva visualizes every Buddha that has ever existed on every planet and every world throughout all time, all the Buddhas that have ever been, and he visualizes them in this huge like bathhouse, and he's bathing them. He's washing their body, he's washing their hair, he's covering them with soap. He's getting scented water and throwing it on there. He's taking his time, and then he takes them each out, and he takes these scented towels and he pats them down and he dries them off. And then he takes these beautiful robes from every part of the world, made out of every precious material in the world, and he adorns them with these robes. And then he sprinkles flour over them, and he leads them out one by one. All of these Buddhas he's bathing and adorning with all these things. And he anoints them with precious oil, and he wraps garlands of fresh flowers around each one of them. And so this is part of the meditation of even to the extent of, I'll even bathe you, I will take care of you, I will show how much I love you, you know. That blew me away when I read that. Apparently it didn't freak y'all out very much. As much as it freaked me out. But I'm like, you know, I'm still working with my mind here, you know. I'm like, I'm watching a naked Buddha, and you know what I mean? Like, raise your armpit, buddy. Okay, spread your legs. Let me get under there. Grandpa, you're 1,000 years old. Let me clean you up, you know. And so, and then let me dress you and cover you in flowers and everything, you know. So, you know, it was kind of weird when I read that Shantideva that was part of his practice, but basically he's saying anything that I can do, I'm doing it, you know. And by the end of this practice, after he's given them everything in the universe and he's bathed them, he's clothed them, and he's walked them out. Dude, can you imagine coming out of like an hour meditation like that, and then you walk out of here and the first person you see on the street needs a quarter? You're like, dude, not only a quarter, but take my belt, take my shirt, you know? Here's my car keys. You've generated so much love in your heart and compassion, and then also towards yourself. Do you think you would ever feel guilty or negative or resentful or angry at yourself after you spend a whole hour giving fruit and lotus flowers and showing love to Buddha? Yes or no?
No.
All right.
There's something else I get